Hey, hey, hey! I am here with my girl, Shamika. Woo! I'm so excited. So sorry if there's a delay in my internet, and sorry I don't look so cute. I'm in a hotel and I'm used to my 5G. Apparently, I'm spoiled, and there is we had an outage last night and this morning. So I hope, can you hear me okay?
I can.
Yay, awesome. All right. So I wanted to chat with you and I wanted my friends to meet you because I think we've been together maybe 2 or 3 years. I'm not so good with time, but I feel like, hasn't it been a while?
It has. It has. Like I don't even know how many years, and it's just so crazy, like how our paths have just been together for that many years and not even realize it.
I know, it's crazy. And what I always noticed about you is like you are so innovative. And I have to tell you something really funny. So I would watch you like online and I was like, man, I'm so jealous. This girl's got this fabulous house, okay?
No, no.
And I was like, I want that house. And I was like, we shouldn't be jealous of others. But I was like, man, I got to watch her because she's got this. Look at this kitchen. Look at her backyard. And then one day you're like, it's a green screen. I was like, shut up. I felt so stupid.
Yes. Oh my gosh. My life changed when I like learned all about green screens and how to use them and like really just amp your videos up. And that's exactly what I was doing, was just trying to attract, more people. And when they see like this really crazy, awesome background, they get excited. And so it worked
Yes.
in my favor.
It is so true. It is so true. And you know what I love is that you taught yourself, right? And then you figured it out. And then your hubby, I think it was your hubby, or did you do it yourself? You made like with the green and the clips, and it was like
Yes.
homemade, but so fabulous. And that's how I am. Like I just figure stuff out. So I need to know. So tell everyone first, like where you're tuning in from. Let's get that backstory. Just tell us like a little bit about you. I'm like all excited and flustered because I'm in your space and I'm excited.
No, same thing here. And I'm just excited that you're having me on and you're sharing me with your people. And I just want to let your people know that you are an absolutely amazing and inspiring person. And you inspire me. And just with all of the things that you've had to personally overcome, I mean, you're just such an inspiration to me. And to find out that we had so many different connections that we're going to get into here shortly, that was just mind blowing. And so my name is Shamika Stevens. You're so welcome. And my name is Shamika Stevens, and I'm from Commerce, Georgia.
Oh my gosh. And you are in direct sales, right?
I am. I am. I've been in direct sales now for right at 9 years, and so it's pretty crazy because now I'm venturing out into other avenues, and I'm going to be creating courses and things like that. And so I am just so excited. And direct sales has changed my life because before I was in direct sales, I worked in the medical field, and I used to drive to work. And this is embarrassing and no joke, no lie. I would like pray to hit a deer, but the deer would be okay. And that I would just total my car so I didn't have to go to work. Now that is awful. Like I was just like, this is not normal that you think and feel this way to go to work. But it had
Yeah.
gotten to the point that I'd been there for like 9.5 years, and I was really burned out. You did 12-hour shifts, and I had to do 3 12s in a row because I work nights, and it's just easier to do them all back to back. And I was just getting in a really big slump with depression, and I didn't realize that that's what was going on. But I was like, oh dear God, I've got to find something else. And I never thought that it would be in the form of direct sales, because I'm like so not a salesperson. Like I'm that chick in the dressing room that goes and puts all her clothes back on to go get the next size up or down or whatever. I'm like, oh, I'm not going to bother anybody. So it was definitely like pretty crazy me getting started with direct sales, to say the least.
I can't believe we have something else in common. This is crazy. Oh my gosh. So before I got into direct sales, I was in the medical field.
No way.
Yeah.
What did you say?
Except guess what? They fired me.
Girl, I wasn't far from being fired. Like I was late 32 times in a month. And she was like, do you know that that's like not even really possible? Like there's not even that many days in a month. So like that means you were late from a break. I was like, yeah, I know. I was probably crying in the stairwell trying to get myself back together. And So
Oh
yeah,
man, well I got fired because I called in sick too many times. Is that crazy? So it was because I had vertigo. That's probably the beginning of my illness,
yes.
But get this, I got fired on my birthday, 10 days before my wedding, and I was like,
Oh,
they're like, you can reapply when you're not sick anymore, and I was like, oh okay, so.
darn. Like it just that's the hardest part because I was dealing with some of the same things early on and I had no idea that it was like leading to my diagnosis of the MS. Like I had the vertigo and the chronic migraines. That was the only thing I had that was causing me trouble. And then that's when we, kind of started researching and digging in more because I was having it so often. So that's wild that you had vertigo before like in the earlier part before being diagnosed.
Exactly. So, in case you guys are just tuning in, we just found out that we both have something, and I call it the Cool Club. So, we're part of the Cool Club. So, we are autoimmune warriors. So, we both have MS, multiple sclerosis. So, and I wanted to share that because sometimes people keep it to themselves, and you don't know who's out. Now, listen, if you're watching and you have migraines or vertigo, don't be like Googling it and freaking out that you have MS. Okay, we're not saying that. We're just saying that we wanted to tell you that we have this because we've both done a lot and we just want to be an inspiration to you because if you're intact, you got no excuse, okay? So I have the MS and psoriatic arthritis and psoriasis and 3 brain injuries. So I got lots of going
Yeah.
on.
And you accomplish a lot though with all of that going on. That is
Yes.
insane. That is so awesome.
And so do you. And I think the reason why we are so effective and efficient is because we choose our time wisely. And also, maybe this MS gave us a brain that makes us figure things out. I don't know, but it worked out for us, didn't it?
It did. And it pushes you. Like the funny thing was I was actually working out in the field. So like I'm in a direct sales business where it's home based, where we were working out in the field and we would go to people's home. And I was getting to the point where my body, I just couldn't physically keep loading and unloading and getting, go into people's homes and get all set up. And I was like, I don't know what I'm going to do. And I don't know what's going on, but I got to change something. And it pushed me before even the pandemic even hit to look at exploring virtual options. And even like my parties now, like I do majority of them, they're scheduled and they're on a video. And it just looks like I'm live because I use like I think it's called One Stream or something like that. And so it shows that you're live and I'm commenting and interacting like live as it's happening. But a lot of times I'm not live.
Oh, wow. You'll have to teach me that one. That's pretty snazzy, pizzazzy. I love that. And speaking of which, you want to see, I do a lot of hacks. So look, can you see? Because I'm in the hotel. Can you see this
Oh,
stroller? Where is
yeah.
it? Get my hands in the way. So that's my daughter's old stroller. So I can't lift because of my psoriatic arthritis. It's inflammation of the tendon. So my shoulders are messed up. So I can't even carry my laptop. So it goes in the stroller and I just wheel the stroller in my purse. And it never occurred to me someone might be like, did you put your baby down somewhere and just grab your purse?
You got your whole computer right here and no child. No.
But I love how you went virtual because I went virtual 9 years ago, also out of necessity because I wanted to be pregnant and I knew that there was going to be challenges and I was like, look, there's got to be an easier way. And I had customers all around the United States. And can I just tell you, 9 years ago, do you know what that was like trying to get someone on Skype? Like that's all we had. I can't remember when FaceTime came out, but they were like, what? Like it was so weird.
I couldn't imagine. It was even a transition for me just 2 years ago. And I was like, I'm not even sure this is gonna really work. I'm not even sure this is really a thing, but it seems like it could be possible. And the thing that I'm finding is I'm able to do way more parties and I'm able to do like a lot more with my time by working from home. And that's been a game changer for me. So it's helping me like move up a
Exactly,
little
exactly.
bit.
Oh, I don't know if I'm frozen or you're frozen.
No,
Oh, who's
I'm not
frozen?
frozen. Uh-oh.
Oh, okay, all
Oh,
right.
no. There you go.
Am I frozen? Okay.
Nope.
Oh man, I'm so sorry. I'd go in
No,
my car, but guess what? There's no signal there either. So
That's how it
Okay, so
tends to
you're saying
go.
about the yes, okay, good. So you're getting more done because you are virtual and you stepped out pre-pandemic. And I
Yeah.
don't know about you, but like when I was doing Facebook parties, I just want to tell you really quick, so you're gonna laugh. Okay, since you do this. My first, I decided, so my mom got sick, right? And I was like, I've
Mhm.
got to be able to do parties, but like bigger scale, because I didn't know about Zoom and stuff like that, right? So
Yeah.
I created this Facebook group and I went live in the Facebook group on one computer. And then on the other computer, I was like, I'm going to figure out the Zoom thing. So I had Zoom on the left, I had Facebook on the right, and try to do this and not get dizzy. Okay. Then
Exactly.
oh my gosh. Then the Zoom, apparently it shuts off after 40 minutes. So, and people didn't know about Zoom. You know, this was like several years ago. So
Right.
it hung up on them. I get all these messages. How unprofessional. You hung up on me, blah, 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 blah. And I was like, oh my
Oh
gosh, I'm
no,
trying so hard.
I'm
So,
sorry.
but I know it was crazy. So that was when my group was born and all this stuff. And look, we have all these tools like StreamYard right now. We have all these things. So I must say, the pandemic has made my life a lot easier, and I'm sure yours as well, right?
Oh yeah, and that's been the crazy thing. Like I've just prospered and did so much better during the pandemic, and
Yeah.
that's a huge blessing because like it pushed, I feel like the world to basically have to transition a little bit to be more virtual and to be a little bit more, figure it out kind of thing. And so
Yes.
I love it.
I know. I'm seeing you do amazing things, and you're like my go-to gal. I'm like Shamika. I know there's got to be a way. Can you just like I'll pay you, girl. Just tell me what to do.
You are so awesome. I was just like, oh my gosh. I was the same way though. Like my thing is if there's something like if there's a hack to be found, I'm gonna find it. And that is
Yes.
I just love like little savvy ways. And like I could have totally like bought a backdrop, holder and everything, but I was like, oh no, man, I seen a girl make this on YouTube in like no time and she went to Home Depot. That's like right up my alley right there. And so
I know.
that like it inspires me. And I like to find hacks and shortcuts for people to do things and to be more efficient and to have more, time to get more things done in a day.
Yes, and I don't know what you think about this, but I lead a team of over 60 people, men and women, and sometimes I think they're making their lives harder because they're not like using hacks or planning their time or whatever. And I'm like, come on, just if you just do these few things, like you can send this text, like I have 600 customers, you can send a text to everyone at the same time, like and be done instead of
Yes. And the other biggest thing that I learned was if you get asked a question more than one time, make a video. And so, like, I have videos and playlists, and I mean, like, a new consultant, they basically come in and they've got a boom, 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 and that way I don't have to say it as over and over and over because that's time wasted. And then, like the shortcuts on your phone where you do like,
yes.
FB or, yeah, so it just makes life so much easier with those little hacks.
Oh, definitely. And I have an Android and an iPhone. And let me tell you, there if you guys are iPhone gals, I'm telling you, you can do way more on an Android, okay? So much more. But yeah, so it took me a long time to figure out how to do the texting shortcuts on Android because you have to Google it and it's a different way. And one day I was like, I'm not going to sleep until I figure it out.
Right.
And so if you guys don't know what we're talking about, so for me, if on my Android, if I want to text like this like calendar link, my Calendly, I would just type in CAL, enter, and boom, you get it. So and then the iPhone, I haven't set them up for there. So in the iPhone, is it a letter and then a number, or tell us,
You
please?
can so basically you go to into your settings and you go to keyboard and then you go to text replacement and then it'll ask for a phrase and then the shortcut. And
Yeah.
so the shortcut will be whatever you want, like just to quickly punch in. So like if you were gonna give somebody say like your Facebook link, I would just put FB1 and then like whenever you go to type that, it's gonna generate that whole link. And then all you have to do is just do space and then enter and like it sends it, you hit send and it goes. And so
Yes.
it's like lifesaver.
It is. And I use it for like posting on Facebook too, because if people ask for my groups, do you do that too?
Oh yeah, I did a whole party with all of my things like plugged in, and I made like this shortcut sheet so that I knew because there was no way I was going to remember all of them.
That's right.
So I made a shortcut list, and so I just looked at that, laminated it, and I was just like, do, 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 and I mean, like schedule it out.
I love it. I love it. See, that's what I love about you. You just get it done and you're like, let's figure it out. Like we're the hackers.
We really are. My husband is so funny. He calls me Ghetto Gains, and it's because like I love decorating and doing stuff, but I'm like not great at decorating. And so like I seriously did our tub, like our shower stall, and I did the peel and stick tiles because I was like, oh, I love this. This will be so easy and so much cheaper. It was a nightmare. He's had to fix it. And but yeah, so I'm always doing like weird random stuff like that. I'm like trying to hack everything. So,
Me too. My husband, I say, how hard can it be? He's like, oh God. Every time you say how hard can it be when it comes to something in the house, it's hard for him.
I make it like triple harder because I'm like, oh, well, I seen it on HGTV
Yeah.
and this is like what they did. And oh, I can totally do that. And so
Yeah.
sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't with the construction type stuff.
Yeah, I know. I decided one day that we should buy houses and flip them. He's like, "Who's going to do that?" I'm like, "Look, all you need to do is get a hammer and then get this and go to what's that place, Habitat for Humanity, and get some cabinets." He's like, "Do you not understand? There's plumbing."
There's like a whole nother layer of stuff. I'm like, yeah, but I think we could figure it out.
Yeah,
I like that too. I want to do flipping houses, and my husband, he's not as excited about it as I am, but I'm like, no, there's like, that we could make a living doing that too. He's
maybe
like,
me
no.
and you will go into the real estate business. There we go.
See, we're thinking outside the box here.
That's how we roll. And I know everyone saw me the other day with my girl Michelle talking about I'm a Connecticut girl, but I'm also a Georgia girl. I lived in Marietta, Georgia.
Oh my gosh. So now do you still live in Georgia?
No, I live in Maryland outside of DC, but today I'm actually in Connecticut because I'm on vacation.
Yeah, great. Like you're a local traveler at this point.
Yes. But I love my Georgia. I know what else I wanted to ask you was that with your business, like even though we're making our houses hard, but your business, would you say that your income doubled, tripled, or like or your team, like what did you notice like about since the pandemic? Because now people are getting onto the virtual training. Like what would you say during that period, if you know numbers or whatever? I didn't mean to put you on the spot.
So like with my business, my husband makes me know the numbers. That's kind of the only reason I know my numbers, which is sad. But so I've pretty much doubled, if not almost tripled my income. And I have a consistent like reorder base at this point now. And so I do anywhere from $500 to $1,000 a month in just reorders. And then that's not including my sales that I'm going to get, for that month or any extras that I'm selling, like a Trello board, or now it'll be my courses or graphic designs because I've sold my graphics as well. I created graphics for some of the top leaders in our industry and stuff.
I'm taking credit for telling me that because I said, girl, stop telling everyone everything for free.
I was like the freebie queen, man. I was giving everything.
Oh man.
It was getting hard. I was like, I don't want to charge, but then at the same time, I'm like, a document can sometimes take you like 3 hours to really get it like, laid out and designed out the way you want it to. And I'm really picky and a little bit of a perfectionist. And so that'll slow you down a little bit. And yes.
I'm so glad that you're charging because you are valuable. And you know what I've learned, because I have courses as well, is that when people pay you, I feel like they respect you more and they listen.
They're going to put it, like they're going to make the time to like implement the stuff and figure it out versus you've sent them the same document 3 or 4 times and they've lost it. They don't know where the document is. And so then that was wasted time and energy. And I can tell you with any course that I've ever paid, for, I'm like, okay, I've got to get serious about this. I've got to understand it. I've got to learn it and implement it. And it just pushes, it makes you hold yourself accountable, I feel like.
I totally agree. And it's just interesting. Just like with free samples, I tell my team, don't give them unless the person said they're interested in it. Like don't
Yeah.
just be trying to be nice, because if they don't want it, they're not going to use it. And it's just, it's not a good business decision.
And you will go broke trying to offer like a bunch of free samples.
Yes.
It's one thing if it's just a lip gloss or a lipstick sample or something like that simple, but I mean, I gotten to the point, that was another thing that I had to really look at, because I was telling Chris, I said, oh my gosh, just with the shipping along, and then the samples, I was like, oh, I got to figure something out. And so, yeah, I started doing packages for like parties and my samples and stuff like that. And every now and then I still do like some of my parties with basic samples that I will give for free. But for the most part, I try to stick to charging for my samples through packages.
Yeah, it's smart. It's smart to do it. And then also I was doing parties that way too, but then I was like, I'm a numbers girl, so your husband will love this. I tracked it. So my virtual events with samples and without, I actually made more money without.
Holy smokes, that's awesome.
Yeah,
That
and I
is
think
good
it's
to
because
know.
yeah, the samples they last longer, so there's no urgency, right?
No.
So if you went into Target or Macy's, nobody's like putting stuff on their face or body or doing anything like that. So they didn't need that with me. And I think in our industry, because we happen to be, very similar, is that people were trying to recreate what they were doing at a home party and bringing it online. And it's not the same. And I'm sure you noticed there's a lot of differences, like exponentially more follow up when you're online, right? And there's a lot of differences.
There's you cannot put a whole party that you would do in person online.
Right.
That was a big transition and a learning moment, a learning curve for me.
Mm-hmm.
And less is more.
Exactly, it is. And people are busy and they just want it like boom, boom, boom. What do I need? And that's why, because I'm so thankful to you, you taught me about Jot Form, and I was using Google Form, or I had like a texting document or Google, whatever it's called. I don't know.
Yeah.
But you like, oh, I made this thing on Jot Form. And I was like, Jot Form, what is that? And I remember I clicked on it. I'm like, this looks complicated. And you're like, it's not, just do it. And I was like, okay. So I did it. And I use it, and I actually teach courses on it, because the way I sell is the blessing method. It's only about what they're interested in. So
Mm-hmm.
I only talk about what they said on their Jot Form. But I want to tell you something. I'm going to blow your mind today, Shamika. I have to teach you something on Jot Form, and I know you're the queen. So do you remember when I was like, hey, girl, I need this QR code to link to my Jot Form to go on my postcard for my restaurant event? Do you remember that?
Yes, I do.
Okay, so I'm going to share my screen. We don't have to do those 5 steps anymore.
Oh, that's awesome.
I know. I'm gonna show everybody, and I couldn't wait to show you. So I wanted to wait. And oh wait, can you see me?
I can see you, but I can't see your screen.
Okay, hold on. I need to publish it first. Let me see. Okay, wait. Yeah, I need to talk to StreamYard. They need to make a couple less steps on here.
I'm telling you, I'm still learning to get comfortable with StreamYard.
Oh. All right, where is it? Can you wait? Where'd it go?
I can see your screen now.
Oh wait, that's not what I want to show you though.
Okay.
All right, we're all learning together. Okay, wait a minute. I'm on the wrong setting. I need to be on edit. Can you see edit?
Yes.
Wait, where'd it go? It's thinking. Okay. Okay, so now you see it?
I do.
Okay, you see settings?
Yeah.
Okay, there's like a million integrations, by the way. This is what I teach. It makes your life easier. It does everything for you. But you see publish?
Uh-huh.
Okay, so now look, do you see share options?
Yes.
Look.
Oh, that is so cool.
Download it.
Oh. Oh my God.
Isn't that crazy?
I've never even seen that little down below.
I don't think it was there before.
Oh, that's awesome. I just redid my Jot forms, and I got to a point where I was like, okay, Shamika, because the free version, you can do like 5 Jot forms.
Oh yeah, I paid.
Girl, I finally got to the point because I was getting so frustrated with Google Forms. Like with Jot Forms, it gives me a notification and it comes right to my phone. And I'm more prone to paying attention to that. When
Yeah,
it comes into my email, like I'm like, I don't know where it might be and I might miss it. And
I
so,
hate email.
so now I'm like, no, I got to pay for my sanity. And so
Yes.
I'm paying for the extra
And
form.
I think that's also a testament, and I don't know how you feel about this, but once I started realizing that in order to move up in my business and to create like this six figure or more whatever business, I needed to invest in tools. And
Yeah.
like paying for email or paying for dot form, it wasn't such a big deal because I knew that I needed that tool. But I like 3 years ago, there's no way I would ever pay. You know what I mean? I wasn't in the mindset.
And that's what's so funny is, and I mean, like a lot of people, they'll question you where they're like on, oh my gosh, well, you don't have to pay for training. You know, training can be free. Yeah. And you get what's offered with free training. You get
Yes.
all of the distractions and all the extras and all of that. And so when you pay for something, you're more prone to, you know, implementing it, learning it, and analyzing how to use it and being able to, you know, make it work for you and make money for you. Like it's so funny. My Trello board, I run it. I've got a website, but I run my whole Trello board, like the checkout, everything. It goes through Jot form. And
Me
so,
too. I don't even have a website.
oh, that is so, because I mean, it can be a little hard trying to figure out all of the integrations of the website. And I'm like, look, I ain't got time for that right now. Let me just figure out a way to make it super easy for people
Huh?
to pay and check out and get their product.
Yeah, that's what I do. I just use so like my course that's tomorrow, my sales toolbox, and I teach that too, but it's all on Jot form and they just go in there, they pay, and then when they're done, it takes them right to the Facebook group. Like I don't have to do anything. Like
Right.
I don't know why people have all these websites. That's crazy.
I know. I believe me, I'm right there with you. I'm like, I have a whole website that I am not utilizing. This is crazy. So,
Yes, yes, I know. And you know what else is great about Jotform? So for my team, we do events and they register, and so it will come to all of us. So whoever decided they're going to do it, and I know
mhm,
you have a team too. So that way, I can talk to my team in real names instead of like, "Who's that girl you said?" I can say, "Oh, Sarah registered, but I didn't see her in the group." Like it helps me not to micromanage. That's not what I'm saying. It just helps me to guide my team because if they might not realize their steps for a virtual event. Do you know what I mean? So I don't want anyone to take it the wrong way. It's just a layer of helpfulness while you're teaching someone before they go in and do it on their own. So you might, if I don't know if that's what you do for your team, but that might be something that's helpful so that you can guide them, you know?
I definitely need to start implementing some more, like, you know, like things like that you've got. I've gotten to where, I mean, like I have a whole playlist set up, like I said, through YouTube because I'm a big video junkie.
Yeah.
And so that's like that's my lane. And so I'm like, okay, let me create a video for you. But no, I love that you're able to do that also through Jotform. And I think that's really cool that you've got your whole team plugged in. And like you said, when somebody registers, it just makes sure that none of the seeds are getting lost.
Oh,
And
it's
so
not nothing's lost, and then it goes to a Google sheet where we color code it. Nobody ever gets lost. Trust me.
yes, that is
Yeah.
the best thing. And I get to where I like print them all out and put them in a binder and like each person's entry because I'm like that way I know in my head I've done it. They've gotten whatever you know tips or the things that I need to follow up and follow through with. I'm not missing some of those steps
Yes.
because
Yeah.
that'll kill you right there.
Oh, I know, I know. And those surveys are, I think that's gold. I mean, that's how I mean, I earned a car in my company during a pandemic because of surveys, like just customizing. So I think the whole world should jump on this train, you know? And look at Shamika and I, we have every reason to not get out of bed, okay? We've got every reason
Oh
to
yeah.
not do anything. But I think that the testament is that your heart is to serve and you want to help others. And look at this. You've created this business. I'm so proud of you. Like I've watched you like, oh, I figured this out. And then it was just like great, you'd share. And then all of a sudden you're like, whoa, doing all this fanciness. I'm so proud.
it's crazy how it grows and it kind of starts multiplying and you're like, holy smokes, it's like I'm everywhere. But you're just, it's being a lot more strategic with what you're doing and how you're, how much time you're allotting to different things. And a lot of times, like I will like hire some stuff out, like Fiverr is my best friend, that's another area that like, if I'm like, this is going to take too much time and effort and energy, and my time and effort and energy is going to be spent better doing this, then I'm just going
Mhm.
to hire that out. And
Yes, I
that's
agree.
that's one of the biggest things. And there were some days, like whenever I have like my infusions and stuff like that, I'm down for like a week, sometimes 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And I'll be like doing videos from my bed. But it's so funny because I'll just like either not share my screen that day, or if I do have some, like if I'm not as pretty as I want to be, like I'll use a video filter, like eyeglasses or something like that. And that is one of the things, like it's just finding the different ways to kind of work around my obstacles. I'm like, okay, so this is a problem. How do I get around it?
I know. I love it. And actually, I was trying to find a filter today because I don't have my lighting in here. And you know what? I was freaking out because I put it on, but guess what? You can't use StreamYard with it because
Oh
you
no.
can't use two cameras. So now
Oh,
I have to find something for non-Mac products that I can use a filter so that because the lighting is a little weird in here, and I'm going to be here for 3 weeks. So if you know
wow.
of any hacks, let me know.
I'll start working on trying to figure something out.
Thank you, my friend.
Yes.
This is so great. I'm so glad that you were available to come on today and just, be such an inspiration to others and let them know that they can do anything and just like a Google search. And if they don't want to, they can call you or call me. Like, we got it.
That's
We
the
know.
that is one of the biggest things that I learned was, okay, because I would get really depressed and, like, especially right after having the MS or the diagnosis, because it was such an out of left field diagnosis for me. I just went in with migraines and vertigo, and we did an MRI, and that's what opened this whole thing up.
Yeah.
And I went through a whole year of just being depressed and laying in my bed and thinking, oh, this is poor, pitiful me. But, you can either choose to believe that, or you can choose to believe a different story and say, okay, so this is a new obstacle that I've got to work around. But how are you going to work around it? And it could be high blood pressure, high, cholesterol issues. It could be anything that is still going to affect your maximum, potential and be able to work full speed.
Right.
Everybody's got something. And that's what I, tell myself is everybody's got the same 24 hours in the day. And why not get as much accomplished as you can by hacking things or figuring out ways around things? And so I just had to change
Exactly.
my whole mindset.
Yes. And a lot of times it's when people get, I don't know if you'd call it a wake up call, but it's like something happens and it kicks your patootie in gear, right?
Oh yeah.
And for you, it was the diagnosis. For me, it was that I had my third brain injury. And I remember I had been sitting on goals like, I want to achieve this position or rank or whatever. I want to do this. But I wasn't doing the activity. I was just talking about it, right?
Right.
You know?
Thinking
So
you were doing it.
yeah, I know. It's funny. And then so when I had my third brain injury, I couldn't do anything. Like I couldn't cook. I couldn't even recognize my own children. So I had to go through a lot to get back to normal. So then I said, this is it. Because if I need to work today because I don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. So I need to know today I did everything in my power to achieve my goals. Because what if I get in another car accident? And
Yeah.
then my mom passed away. And as she was transitioning to be with our Lord, I looked at her and I thought, you know what? None of this matters.
Nope.
Nothing matters what anyone else thinks of me. The no's that I got, none of it matters because all I have is this dash. And I'm going to do everything in my power to make that dash like worth it and
Yeah.
get and to receive all the blessings that I can. And it sounds like you're doing the same thing. And you know what, guys watching, you don't have to wait for this kick in your patootie. You don't have to wait for a diagnosis. You just need to know that you were made for more and that you have a purpose in life. And now just go do it.
Yes, yes, that's exactly it. And it'll be weird. Like you said, you'll have that wake up call. And my diagnosis was definitely my wake up call and me not living to my full potential. And it's like you saying, you would say, oh, I want this rank or I want this, position or I want to earn a car. But are you backing it up with the amount of work that needs to be done? Are you thinking more about it than you are actually implementing and doing what you need to do, the hard stuff, to get there? And it's been a game changer and a whole like mind shift.
It is. And you know what else though? I think that I had to just do it my way. Like I also wasn't like recruiting and team building because I was like confused. Like everything seemed so complicated. So one day I said, I've had successful businesses before. I just need to do what I did before, which was like the surveys,
Yeah.
And so I had to go back to my old school and I just had to keep it simple. Like for recruiting, I don't have a notebook. I just say two questions. Like I don't have all this extra stuff. I don't have room in my brain for
I
that.
can't
So,
imagine.
and
And even if I have a notebook, I either lose it, I don't know where it's at, or I forget I even wrote it down 6 or 10 pages back. And so
oh,
I have a whiteboard.
Oh, there you go. So it cracks me up when I see people taking a million notes because they're never going to access them again. It's not effective because how do you even search? So I use Google Docs because you can search. So if I have to take a note, it's got to be effective. I'm not doing anything that's not efficient. It's like I don't have
No,
time for inefficiency. Is that even a word?
no, that makes complete sense. And I had to do that same thing was figure out, okay, what works for your brain, Shamika? What is going to make you remember how to do this or what you did or, follow through with this person? Like, what are the steps that you need to implement for you and your brain? Because so many times we see like, oh, this person's having great success with this. But if your brain doesn't think that way, then it's not going to really matter. You're going to have to it doesn't matter if you even do it to a T. A lot of times you're still not going to have those same results because it's really hard if you're not figuring out what works for you personally.
And also, a lot of these people you see having success, they're not telling you the full story.
Oh
Like
no.
there's stuff in the background that's like happening. So when you're like, well, how'd you do it? And they're like, oh, I just asked them. No, they're not telling you that it was 26 texts and smoke signals. Like,
Yes. I went through 50 people before I got this, and or I had to do this many parties or this many events. And it's so funny because we only see people's highlight reels, and especially, in social media, nobody is showing you the craziness going on behind the screen here. And so it's good and it's bad, but at the same time, just know that everybody's still fighting a battle and everybody's got all that craziness going on. It's just you have to figure out, okay, how can I make this work? Like I'll be eating and texting and following up with people all at the same time.
yeah.
And I'm like, I probably got grease on my phone or something, but it's like, I just that's when I'm remembering, okay, I need to do this. I need to be sure I'm doing this. And so it just works for me, but some people that would drive them bananas.
Right.
And so it's just figuring out, okay, what's going to make more sense for me personally, and let me do that and trust your gut because you have those and those instincts for a reason. And it was like when I was doing things other people's way, it felt like it was going against the grain. I always feel like I was trying to tap a square peg into a round hole,
Me
and I'm
too.
like, I
Yes.
can't do this.
Oh my gosh. I know. And look, once you did it your way, that worked with your noggin. Look, and me too. And you know what? It's just showing me. And because like in my courses, people praise my brain. And all my life I've thought I was less than from my brain. But I think there's more people that are like us
Yes.
than there are for whatever this other crazy thinking is.
Exactly. Like you think all the other normal people, quote
Yes.
unquote, because that's what I'm like. Oh, I wish I was normal. I wish I could think normally. And it's so funny. My husband says, Shamika, you could never go back to a 9 to 5. Like you could not have a boss. I'm like, you are absolutely right. I am not mentally prepared for that kind of situation
Oh.
or equipped. Like I have to be able to think and process and do my own thing and not feel so boxed in. Not that there's anything wrong with a 9 to 5, because I mean that is the backbone of our country. But I just had to go again. Even when I was trying to, step out into being an entrepreneur, I was like, oh my gosh, I don't know if this makes sense. And, this is not what everybody else is doing. Everybody else is going to school. And my first day of college, I had like a nervous breakdown kind of situation, like a anxiety attack. And so I just had to know and be okay with like, that's not your journey. That's not your path.
I'm so glad that you were open to change, right? And that
Yeah.
you were, sorry, these are my makeup glasses. My other glasses are in my car, so I look like a weirdo. But I see this huge glare. Anyway, in case you're like, what's she like Stevie Wonder? Like, what's she doing? I'm so
I
glad
totally
that you
do
stepped into your greatness and that you realized there was more for you. And for me, becoming an entrepreneur wasn't scary because I had done it so many times. What was scary was going to a job and giving your all and then just being fired. Like to me, I don't know how anybody works 38 years, gets a gold watch or a mug, and that's what they've done with their life. Like I believe that we have these blessings and we just have to find it. Like, just
that.
find it, but simplify it.
Yes, yes. It was so crazy because like when I worked at the hospital, I remember there was a lady, she had been there for like over 25 years and she emptied and she was like maybe a month away from retirement and she had emptied a saline bag out, like just let it run out in the sink. It was full, just normal saline. It wasn't like anything mixed in with it. And they ended up firing her on a technicality of that. And just so they didn't, kind of have to pay her retirement and all of that. And I was like, oh my gosh. And then like another boss, it was one of those things where she had been there for several years and they just came in and said, hey, here's a box. You need to pack up your office and we're letting you go. And they basically just hired somebody at a cheaper rate.
Right.
And
Yeah.
there was no reason to fire her. And I was just like, oh my word, like you're a number. I don't want to be a number at any
Right.
place.
Exactly. And that's stressful to me. Like I couldn't live like that. I mean, there's no way. Like
No, no, no.
I'm not gonna fire myself. Are you gonna fire yourself?
No, and a lot of people think it's more risky working for yourself, but really there's just as much risk in a 9 to 5 because you're not truly promised that, that job tomorrow,
Right.
and you could be doing a great job and get fired. It
Mhm.
doesn't matter.
Exactly. Plus, I can't even imagine, like, I'm on a 3-week vacation right now. I can't imagine a boss saying, okay, sure, go
Yeah,
ahead.
go for 3 weeks. We're gonna let you off. No, there's a whole pecking order. We got like this many people need to be off, and they want to, they want this time off. So you got to wait your turn. Hell,
Yeah.
I'm not interested.
No, I know. People say to me, Erica, you work all the time. I'm like, no, I don't. So they see me here right now. So they think I'm working. Well, I am working now, but in a few minutes, I might have my sweatpants on, hanging out with my kids in the room, you know?
By the pool, doing like going
Yes.
shopping. I mean, like it's so much more to what you're able to truly do, and especially like working virtually because you can quickly pick up your phone, answer a message, put it back down, and finish cooking or do
Yes.
laundry. Do this. I mean, you can just multitask a lot more and get a lot more done. I feel like with working something like what we do.
Oh, I know. I'm so glad that we did all this.
I know, I know. I'm like, man, thank God I did not second guess this because there's a lot of things like I'll second guess on myself and, just like, are you sure? But no, like this is like, I just know in my like heart of hearts, I'm just a born entrepreneur. Like I've always loved like selling stuff and it like even as a child like I would go to like the thrift store and like get the like make something cute or like make it into something different and then you'd be like selling it and I'm like why don't people just make their own bookshelf? Like I made my own bookshelf, so like
I
why don't people do that? And and so
I
it's
love it. And
yeah.
I love that you said that you love selling because I love selling. And I say I'm bringing the S word back because people say sales and the word selling is like a terrible thing, but they don't understand. What's terrible is if somebody's twisting your arm, like if you go into a car dealership and you want a minivan and they're trying to sell you like a 2-seater convertible with polka dots, that's twisting your arm. But
Right.
Selling is truly serving. And if you find out what the person wants through a survey, in advance, then it's a beautiful thing. You're helping somebody. So I don't know what the problem is with the whole selling thing. People, that's just weird to me. Just do it the right way and all is well, and you'll have a fan club.
That's exactly right. Like I sell to people, like even at my appointments, I would sell to them the way I would want somebody to sell to me. Like, okay, so during this, you said you really like this, but you didn't really care for this. Would you like to swap it out for something like this? This is the difference. And just let them make the decision and the choice and give them their options. And if they say, oh, I don't, I just don't want anything today. Perfect. That's okay. Like there is either way, I'm cool. Like I just know that I have to do the work and then I'll be blessed in the long run. Like my turn, and all of that'll come around. And so I just feel like God works all of that out for us.
That's right. And I tell my team, like, if they didn't buy, how do you know that they're not going to refer you to someone who's going to be your hot shot or who's going to be your best customer? So make sure you're always asking for referrals and other things. Or if they don't have the money, I'm sure they could join your team and you could show them how to make money. There's always an option, right?
Oh my gosh, yes. It's so funny. I had one customer and I literally could attribute that one customer. She didn't purchase anything. And I had drove to her house, which was like an hour and a half from my home. And but it opened up a whole entire area. Like she was very well connected with people. And I was just like, holy smokes, like if I had not met her, I wouldn't have had these 5 or 6 different team members from that area. And so it's amazing.
I believe God puts people on our path for sure. And we just have to, he's just waiting for us to do the action.
Yep.
So if anyone, if anyone wants to reach you, I forgot to tell you in advance, do you have a link or do you want to post it later?
I can post it later. It's actually just my my regular Facebook profile page. Like that's generally the easiest way to get a hold of me or to kind of
like your friend one, like your regular normal, like that one.
Yes, like my regular profile.
Okay, so I just want to make sure. I didn't know if there was another one,
Well, I'm actually about to like open up a whole group page. I just realized I was like, oh my gosh, I need to get a group for for all of the people to be able to find me. And so like I'm working on getting that going. So right now I still just have everything just going straight through my regular profile.
Well, you should get a business page. That way people can share you, too.
Yes. And I do have one. It's just not as updated as I need it to be. And so that's another thing. I'm like, okay, I got to get on top of it.
Imperfect action, right? It doesn't matter, right?
That's right. I'm like, you know what? I'll get it all knocked out. I'll have it. I have my little list, and that's basically what I go down through. And I'm like, okay, done, got it.
There you go. I love it. I know, like my YouTube channel, this is going to be on there, and I'm having my banner made right now, so it's not pretty, but it will be one day, and this will be there, right? So I'm excited. So we'll look for your link, and if anyone's interested, tomorrow starts my sales toolbox, and I'm going to show you the behind the scenes stuff that these top leaders and top earners are not sharing, and how to put your business on automation. Even like a direct sales company like you're with, you can put it all on automation. And that's what I do. So if anyone's interested, let me know. I'm sure if you scroll down, you'll see a little red toolbox and just click on that. So yay, my friend. Thank you so much for coming here and being with us and pouring all of this into us. I mean, I just know that you've inspired many today, and this will be here forever. So people are going to be inspired from years from now too. So thank you.
You are so welcome. Thank you so much for having me on and sharing me with your people.
Oh, of course, of course. All right. Bye. You can stay for a second to talk to me, but I'm gonna de-live us. My language. Bye, guys.
Bye.